Okay. Just relax. We good? Are we good? You licked my glasses. Well, hello, everybody out there trying to reach things over. Molly is insisting on being right here. Buster would probably be in here too if I could fit him in here instead. He's just kind of like chilling down over on the corner. But today I wanted to read a little bit of the Ashborn for you because it's going to be released soon. The Ashborn will be released on the 31st of October and it'll be on Amazon. It's already available for pre-order on Amazon Kindle. I'll read you the back so you have an idea of what this book is about. Born from the roots of an ancient ash tree, Rúna carries the hum of the gods in her blood and the weight of prophecy on her shoulders. From the wind-swept fjords of Norway to the storm-lashed seas of Greenland and the wild shores of Vinland, her journey is one of sacrifice, power, and fate. Marked as Ashborn, she is hunted by monsters of legend, guided by visions older than time, and tested by gods who play cruel games. With her oath brother Jaya at her side, and love tugging at her heart towards dangerous choices, Rúna must decide. Will she obey the fate woven by the Norns, or rise to weave her own? Sweeping in scope and rich with Norse myth, the Ashborn is a saga of courage, blood, and destiny. Perfect for fans of historical fantasy, Viking epics, and mythological retellings. I had a lot of fun writing this one. And I actually had a lot of fun reading this one and making my last updates to it. We'll start beginning. The child could not have been meant to die. Not her child. Not the one born in the Michigami shelter. Her laughter carrying even into the shadows of the ash tree that loomed nearby. For years, she was Rúna's joy, her reason, the proof that love could rid itself in a foreign land. But fate does not soften, not even for children. Rúna was Ashborn, bound to gods and prophecy, yet she was also a mother. When the time came and death pressed too close, she swore she would not surrender her daughter to silence. The ash listened, the blood remembered, and a vow was carved that would echo long after both mother and child were gone. Centuries peeled away like birch bark. The ash grew, sickened, grew again. Its roots drank memory, its branches cast long shadows. The child's name faded from lips, then from story, then from time. Yet still the ash hummed, as if carrying her breath in its veins, until men came with axes and survey lines, until roads broke the ground and laughter returned where silence had reigned, and the earth remembered. Now she stirs, small hands twitch, eyes blink in the dark. The dead do not sleep when they're loved too hard, and the child only wants to play. The ash remembers, the blood will answer. Generations pass, and the tale of the Ashborn faded to whispers. Yet fate does not forget what the gods bound. In another age, in another land, in another world, story would begin again. Chapter 1. Whispers Beneath the Ash. Present-day Bangor, Michigan. The soccer ball rolled farther than the boy intended, bouncing across the uneven ground until it came to rest near the blackened trunk of an ancient ash tree. He sprinted after it, his laughter carrying in the late autumn air, until a hand ripped his sleeve. Leave it, the other boy said, his voice low. It's just a ball, the first protested, tugging against the hold. We can get it before the wind takes it down the hill. The second boy shook his head, eyes fixed on the tree whose roots twisted like black veins through the earth. Not there. Don't you know the stories? My grandfather said that ground's haunted. Ghosts walk under that tree. The first boy glanced at the trunk, charred yet stubbornly alive. Branches bare but unbroken. It's just old wood. No, the second insisted. It burned, but it didn't die. The ash, it keeps what's buried under it. They say children who step too close are taken, pulled down into the roots. My grandfather swore he knew one of them. The first boy's grin faltered. That's just a tale. Then why do you think no one builds here? Why do you think the grass won't grow near the roots? The second boy's voice dropped to a whisper. The tree remembers. It doesn't forget what's buried with it. But there's a house on the corner. It's been there forever. Why would they live there if there's an evil witch or ghost or whatever living under the tree? I never said it was a witch. I said they're ghosts. Besides, the house on the corner belongs to actual witches. They take care of the ghosts. You mean to tell me that old lady Starbuck is a witch and that she doesn't just sell jelly, she also guards a tree full of ghosts? It's your funeral. Don't listen to me then. Silence stretched between them, filled only by the rustle of dry leaves skittering across the ground. At last, the first boy tore his gaze from the ball and muttered, "Fine, let's go." Together they turned back, leaving the ball where it rested against the blackened bark. Dusk was already drawing long shadows when they reached the small farmhouse at the edge of the fields. Smoke curled from its chimney, carrying the scent of wood fire and stew. On the corner, where the gravel road gave way to dust and wild grass, Elf Starbuck sat on the porch steps with a bowl in her lap, snapping beans with steady hands. Her gaze lingered on the children in the field, their laughter sharp as gold eyes. They did not see what she saw. They did not notice the pale tendrils pushing through the earth, the roots of the ash tree creeping toward the ball, hurling around, tugging it closer to the shadow of the trunk. Elle's mouth curved, not in fear, but in knowing. She brushed her palms against her apron, the faint scent of earth and grain clinging to her skin. "Rebecca," she called, her voice carrying like a bell through the open window. A girl of 8 came skipping from the cottage, her braids flying, her face bright with devotion. "Yes, Grandma." Elle placed a small bundle of wildflowers into her hands, stalks bound with twine. "Take these," she said softly, her eyes flicking towards the forest edge. "Go on and show little Adis how a proper game of ball is played." Rebecca nodded solemnly, as if entrusted with a sacred task. She hugged the flowers close to her chest, then skipped down the path, untroubled by the sight of roots inching the ball toward the ash tree's base. From the porch, Elle listened. A high, silvery laugh threaded through the branches, carried back on the wind. Not the laughter of the children in the field, older, younger, something between. She sank back onto the step, the rhythm of snapping beans steady in her fingers. A tune rose in her throat, a lullaby her mother had sung, and hers before her. A melody worn smooth by time. The air hushed to hear it. The roots pressed deeper into the earth, and Elle hummed on, as though all was as it should be. That night, the boys sat cross-legged by the campfire in their grandfather's yard, the glow painting his weathered face in flickers of orange and gold. His eyes, clouded but keen, searched their expressions. "You saw the ash," he said quietly, not as a question, but a knowing. They nodded. He stirred the fire with an iron poker, sparks rising like stars into the night. "That ground isn't empty. Long before this town, long before your fathers were born, 2 women were laid beneath that soil, a young daughter first and her mother after, who would not leave her to rest alone. Vikings, some say, exiles, others whisper. Their names may not be remembered anymore, but they don't need to be." The boys leaned closer, breath held. The old man's voice softened, carrying the weight of too many years warring for his children and his grandchildren. "The gods marked them, and the tree bound them. Gone, yet not forgotten. One claimed by death too soon, the other following by her own hand. Their story is not finished. The ash still waits, and those who stray too close may find the dead do not rest as easily as we hope." The fire cracked, sending sparks whirling into the dark. The boys shivered, though the night was not yet cold. The grandfather's gaze turned toward the shadowed edge of the fields, where the Starbuck cottage stood beyond sight. His voice dropped low, heavy with warning. "And remember this, leave Elle Starbuck and her kin be. They do no harm. They serve their purpose, as those bound to the ash always have. Trouble only comes when folk forget their place and go meddling where they shouldn't. The ash remembers," he murmured then, almost to himself, "and those brave enough to listen may yet hear its tale." And with that, he began to tell the story of Rúna and Adis, 2 characters in an ever-changing story set by the gods and woven by the authors. Thank you for sitting with me while I read the first chapter. I really hope that you find the rest of it exciting, just as exciting as I found writing it. And it'll be out and available soon.